Hello guys. So today we're going to be talking about variables. So let's just jump right in. So a variable is a storage location that holds a value. So the value has to take a specific form called a data type. So we'll get into what a data type is later. First, let's look at this analogy. So essentially, imagine you have all these colored boxes. Each box can hold one thing and one thing only. So these these are like your variables. So the value that you give to each variable has to depend on the data type it is. So in this scenario, the colors that each box are I don't know is a is their respective data type. And so now we're gonna put some values into them. So for the green box, we can only have green things. So we should put something green into it. If we try to put a green thing into a red box, it will not work. This is not good. This is bad. But so we have to match each value to the data type. Imagine the circles are values, and the colors are data types. So of course this will need to have red things, and this one will need to have a green thing. So that's essentially how data types work. Now let's look at what data types actually are. So these are the basic data types that you should know. So the first are integers. So integers is a data type for any positive or negative whole number, therefore any integer. So this can be, some examples are 1, 2, -5, 1000. It's really modular. You don't, but its one downside is that it doesn't have any decimals. You can't use fractions. That's where floating points or doubles come in. So this is a data type for fractions or decimals. For example, you have 1.0, 2.5, 1.52. Essentially, floating point just means it's a number that has a decimal. It has a point in it. So that's what floating points are. Strings are a data type for a string of text. So I have included a couple tricky examples here. So first of all, we have hello world. This is a very common string that you find for people when they start programming. So this is just a string of text. It has a few letters in it that combine into a word, but it can be anything inside. For example, yo is a string. I like elephant. This is also a string. So any string of characters, usually they're denoted by these right here, these quotation marks. That's how you denote a string. You can also use 1 or any number. So this is an interesting um, concept. So you have your integers here, right? They're just represented as numbers, no quotations or anything. The things you can do with integers are you can do math with integers. You add things, subtract things, you can count with integers, you can do all that. However, for strings, if you use a single number, if you put a number in a string, you can't use this as it doesn't function as a normal mathematical number. It functions as like the character one, not the mathematical number one. You could also use y, which is just, or any single letter. This is this will this seems normal now, but it'll seem complicated in a little bit. So let's move on to the data type char or char, or I don't know. It stands for character. Essentially, it's a data type for singular characters. So we have some examples here. A, the number 1, or y. Again, you can't use arithmetic for this one because this is the text version of 1, not the mathematical number 1. The y, this is where it gets a bit complicated. So you see how y is represented as a single character? So it uses these, any char or char variable needs to have these single quotations, you see. But here's where it gets tricky. So the y in this example and the y in this example are two completely different things, because this is a string y and this is the character y, essentially. So strings can use single characters in their value, but characters always have to use a single value, essentially. So let's move on to booleans. Booleans are very useful. So essentially, booleans are just variables that have a true or false value. So, for example, booleans can literally just be true, or they can just be false, but they can also be an equation of some sort. So I have this example here. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. This is a true statement. I hope you agree. So because we know that, this evaluates to, guess what? True. Okay, so this is also a Boolean statement because it is true or false. This, however, is not true because 1 plus 1, what is it? It's 3. It's not 3. I hope you agree. This is false. So this is also a Boolean statement. So these are some of the data types that you can use. These are the most important ones. You have to know these. I'm looking at you, Roman. You have to know these if you want to like start programming and do better in it. These are used for like a whole sort of things. For example, for counting, for like measuring distance. There's so many things you can use these data types for. We'll get into it more later, but for now, just know these. Thanks.